Hello, my name is Steve Wood and we're here today at the home of Major Thackeray MBE Royal Marines retired. He is the last remaining Royal Marine survivor of the sinking of HMS Royal Oak in the Second World War. Major Thackeray, you joined the Royal Marines in when? What year did you join the Royal Marines?
June 1937.
1937. So what made you choose the Royal Marines?
Well, I went to join the Navy actually. I did shorthand and typing, and I thought if I could join the Navy as a writer, I'd get extra money. I think it was £10 a week for taking court-martial notes and so on. But there were no vacancies. And so I knew a bit about the Marines. My grandfather had been a Marine, and one or two of my uncles in the past. And so when the old colour sergeant got to work on me in the recruiting office and said, why don't you join the Corps, I weakened and joined the Corps. I tried to join the Corps with this chap here. That's me, age 16, just before I joined. Yours, yeah. Both got pipes going.
Oh, right.
And he came in and had his medical, and when he came out, I said, okay, I'm in Ray was his name, and he said, I've got a lazy eye. So there was just me, and a great pity, we parted. I never saw him again,
oh, right.
And yet we were very close friends, but you know, our ways were quite different. I was off to the depot.
Now you mentioned your father was a Royal Marine, but...
No, he wasn't a Marine, he was a sapper.
Oh, right.
No, my grandfather.
Your grandfather was
a
Royal Marine?
Yes.
So what sort of background did you have as a...
Oh, perfectly normal childhood. I went to a decent prep school, and I left school as soon as I could, hated it, like a lot of kids do. Went to Birmingham, because my father was separated from my mother, lived in Birmingham, and Four Oaks. I went there and got a job in a lawyer's office in Birmingham, and as I was saying, got fed up with the hot, long summers on the dusty Birmingham streets. And I'd come from Deal anyway, where the depot was. We had a house there, my mother lived there. So I was dreaming of the sea. So I joined up and went back there.
How did you feel when you were a young Marine and the news that war broke out?
Well, I don't know whether we ought to print this, but when war broke out, I was in cells in HMS Excellent.
Right, but how did you feel at the time? I mean,
and how did I feel?
Yeah, that there was going to be a world war.
No, I had no special feeling. We knew there was going to be a war. It was pretty obvious all round. And no, I was neither elated nor depressed. I don't think we thought for a moment that the Germans would be so overwhelming, which they were. I mean, if they'd shown a little more initiative, they could have occupied the UK quite easily. There wasn't very much to stop them. So, no great excitement really.
Yeah. Back
to the ship, by the way, out of cells.
Yeah.
34 days stoppage to leave and pay, and back to the ship.
So you were already on board HMS Royal Oak when war broke out?
Royal Oak, yeah.
You were part of the ship's
I had jumped ship, that's what I was doing in cells. Yeah, it was a very unhappy ship.
Yeah, well, I'm
certainly the detachment was unhappy.
What was the ship like? How were the crew, officers, living conditions?
It was a very clean ship, immaculate, you might say. In the old way, things used to be like that, you know. And the commander was not popular. He Nichols, I think his name was. He relieved a fellow who was utterly charming, a lovely man, a good naval officer, and beloved by all. But then he went and this other chap came. But that's the way it is.
And the morale on board the ship, how was the morale amongst the crew?
Well, I think the morale was all right, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in those days, there was very much a demarcation between officers and, you know, gangway for a naval officer was standard. Gather up all your bits and pieces, you're cleaning a deck strip. Never mind that, you know, some young subby wants to come by. And it was a different navy.